All right. Hi, Jim. Say something so we could test the audio.
Hi, Armin. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone on Facebook. We're going to go live. We're live on Facebook. We're going to go live on YouTube as well in a few seconds. Just bear with us. Let us know in Facebook if you have. Let us know if you have good audio. Okay, we're live on YouTube as well.
Awesome.
Perfect. Wow, we have already so many people, and wow, so many people on Facebook. Guys, say hi on Facebook if you're in the live chat. On YouTube, we already have the live chat that's very active already. So we're going to be covering the latest news on religion, atheism, secularism, some stuff that is political or other woo stuff that you guys ask us to cover. Thank you for everybody that suggests us news to cover. And I see on the YouTube live chat we have Aya. Oh, Aya, yeah. We have Alex. Jim is there. Wonder Lady. Wolf is there. Channel Gaming something. Izzy is there on Facebook. I see T. Colin. Pidar. Abu Bakr. Oh, hi. We have the first Khalifa here. Mary, Marcus, David, and Grant. Abu Bakr. We're friends actually, I think. But before we do, really quickly, Jim, you're going to mention our new patrons really quick, okay? So we could get to the news.
Yeah, absolutely. As always, we want to thank our donors because without you guys, we could not do what we do. So Ahmed Issa, thank you so much for your $1 pledge. Jonathan Friedel, thank you so much for your $1 pledge. Magnetron, badass name, for a $1 pledge. Thank you so much. And Sweet Heathen, thank you so much for your $1 pledge. Guys, if you want to donate yourself, check us out on our Patreon, Atheist Republic. We thank you guys so much for everything you do for us.
All right, Jim, what's the first news?
Thousands say Nike Air Max sneaker is offensive to Muslims and petition for a recall. A change.org petition that was created by a person named Saika Noreen in the UK says that a logo stamped into the sole of Nike resembles the word Allah in Arabic and is blasphemous. The petition asked Nike to recall its Nike Air Max 270 shoe, saying, quote, "This is disrespectful and extremely offensive to Muslims and insulting to Islam," end quote. Noreen writes in the petition, the Air Max 270 went on sale in new colors, retails for $150, and features Air Max stamped into the sole. So before they go out on recall, pick up a pair.
Yeah, I think if it's insulting to Islam, then there should be a premium price on it. This is great. I mean, I kind of like these kind of campaigns because it shows to people how ridiculously sensitive these people are. Like that they can't, I think this is good. The fact that how many signatures did this campaign get?
More than 16,000.
More than 16,000. So are they going to actually remove the shoe?
They could be forced to. I mean, if this, but I mean, that's just what this petition is wanting. They're wanting them to recall. So that doesn't mean that it will, even if they do reach the amount of signatures that they need. But it's I mean, this is ridiculous. And I mean, Nike's been through this before, with them claiming that that the Air Max logo is the word of Allah and all this other stuff. But it's stupid. Armin, like if you look at it, the part that they're claiming that says Allah in Arabic isn't even the whole freaking logo. Like it's just part of it.
Yeah, but the last time this happened, did they recall it or not?
I didn't see where they had recalled it. All I saw was that they had petitioned for a recall.
I really hope they don't, because if they do, it really shows like a giant company, even a giant company like theirs has to give in to a backward barbaric religion like Islam. Like I really hope they don't, but I really think this should backfire. First of all, the whole campaign is effective because I think the whole world needs to be how sensitive many Muslims are, that they really go out of their way to find things to be offended about, even if they run out of things to be offended about. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, this is fucking stupid. I was going to say the R word. But I think there needs to be a backlash to this.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
I,
I absolutely do. I feel like Nike needs to stand up to this. I don't feel like they need to be apologizing like they have. I don't feel like they need to be making any sort of special measures just to plead with him. I mean, but what are these the creative team within Nike? Are they supposed to research every single language and every single cultural offense and make sure that they're not offending anybody by their logo? I mean, come on.
hey, we got a super chat in the live chat. YouTube live chat. Read the. Thank you so much. Wow, $12. That's very good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your super chat. Vibrantly Brantley says, "Here's my dollar pledge for this year."
Oh, thank you.
Nobody tell Brant that that's $12.
Okay. But no, thank you. That's very kind. But what by a backlash, I mean, like, I think every time people try to use we're offended as a weapon to tell other people what to do. Like, if you're offended, here's an easy solution for you guys, to whoever's offended by the shoes. Don't buy the fucking shoe, okay? But, like, people say you shouldn't be offended. No, it's okay to be offended, right? You can be offended. There's nothing wrong with being offended. The problem is when you think you're being offended means other people have to do something because you're offended, okay?
Right.
And you could just go be offended by yourself. And there's an easy solution to that. If you're offended by a book, don't read it. If you're offended by a certain music, don't listen to it. If you're offended by a fucking shoe, don't buy it.
Well,
but when you try to get other people to follow your rules because you're offended, I think this needs to backfire so much, because we need to show people that this doesn't work. Like, you know how the Drawing Muhammad cartoon, the annual event for Drawing Muhammad, right? That
right.
really showed, like, if Muslims, when they try to act like, oh, you can't draw Muhammad because we're offended, now it's an annual event, and now they're not sensitive about it as much as used. I mean, there still are, but it's much better than before because we desensitized them, because it's now an annual event, right? Now they're claiming, now they're going around claiming that they were never offended. Oh, sure, go draw Muhammad, do whatever the fuck we want. No, you were not like this. We made, we desensitized a lot of you. You were not originally like this. But with this, I think, like, there needs to be a call out for toilet paper with Allah on it. Like, I've seen some Muslims claim that there's Allah on toilet papers by, like, actually, like, just by squishing it and being offended. Like, they really go out of their way to find things that they're offended about. But I think, like, there needs to be clear, purposeful toilet paper with Allah symbol on it as a response to this campaign, just to show people that whenever you try to get other people to silence or not to do something because you're offended, it's going to backfire on you big time, and you're not only you're not going to achieve what you wanted, it's going to get a lot worse. Just so that because if they win something like this, they're not going to stop, right? They're not going to stop. They're going to go after something else after this. It's going to encourage them to weaponize being offended about some things to win other battles as well. They need to lose this battle big. So whoever goes out and puts on Etsy or whatever, I don't know where would allow this, a toilet papers with Allah symbol on it, please come to us and show it that you're selling it, and we will advertise the fuck out of it on Atheist Republic. And Atheist Republic Facebook page, we have 2 million followers. On Instagram, we have 60,000. Twitter, we're getting close to 100,000. We'll mention it on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is not that big, but we're growing. So if you're out there and you want to make some money, go make toilet papers with Allah symbol on it, and come let us know, and we will market that. We will promote that on all our platforms. So please go ahead and do that. Jim, do you wanted to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, you were saying that if it offends you, don't read it or don't buy it, but I would go as far to say, I mean, that if you do buy something and you discover that it offends you, or if you see something that offends you that is brought to your attention, I'm not saying that you should ignore it. By all means, speak out against it, debate people on it, you know, bring up these ideas and fight with people about it. Use your freedom of speech. I'm all for that. But what I'm not for is for you saying that just because I'm offended means we shouldn't be selling these.
Stephen in the live chat is Facebook live chat is saying we want toilet paper in capital. Grant is saying the hypocrisy insane. Some people are saying I would buy that toilet paper. Grant is saying when all is said and done, it's kind of weak argument either way. I don't know which one is you're referring to, Grant. Philip is saying that he hopes that they don't give in and they keep their shoe. It's just a symbol that by coincidence looks like something else. And any mature person would see that and not demand a change. Yeah, but I want to show them that if you are offended by a logo that coincidentally looks like Allah, because of you being so pissy about it, now you're gonna get toilet paper that is on purpose looks like Allah. Pete is saying I might buy a pair so I can walk all over their imaginary God. Well, okay, then when somebody comes out with the toilet paper, then buy that as well, so you could wipe your ass with Allah.
Yeah, it's going to be great because when the toilet paper comes out, they can stop being pissy about everything and start being shitty about something else.
Ono is saying for this to, so it actually says, the logo says Air Max, and for it to be Allah, you have to turn it upside down and leave the A and the X out, and then use your imagination. Yeah, I think it's very far-fetched. Yeah, so this shoe is not good enough. We need actual products with actual Allah, real Allah on it. The fact that the fact that they're offended by this shows that they are really, like, they're trying. They're professionals. They made it their career to become offended by things, or else Islam becomes irrelevant. They need to be offended. If they run out of things to be offended about, they're upset that there's not that many offensive things out there, because just like the social justice warriors, right, on the far left, that they need to find things to be offended about, or else they're going to lose relevancy. These Muslims that make these petitions, they're not, you know, a lot of them are not upset about this. They want these things to happen because they want their Islam to be relevant somehow in society. They want something to cry about. Go on, Jim.
Daniel Yerke in the YouTube live chat says it's a miracle, like when Allah shows up in a cloud. Yeah, and what they don't show you after that picture where it says Allah in the cloud, about 5 minutes later, that same cloud slowly formed into a giant dick.
Okay. Izzy is saying actually. Somebody made a short video claiming he saw Allah on a roll of toilet paper. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. From Mark and Spencer. Yeah, that was such a far-fetched as well. But that was not on purpose, Izzy. I saw that video, but I want the Allah symbol on toilet paper on purpose. Like, you can't, like, not somebody that is just finding it by accident. B just saying, I thought the bottom of the shoes are rude, so why were they looking at them? Okay, you read Daniel's comment. Alex is saying, this is sickening. How can we disrespect the one who created us? I don't know.
I am not disrespecting my parents.
I don't know. Maybe Alex is being satirical. I don't know. Alex, are you being serious?
Facetious.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, let me see if anybody in the Facebook live chat tagged us. John is saying custom-made toilet paper. Oh, so there's a place where you could go make custom-made toilet papers. Is printedtp.com /collections/all. Okay, so go make custom-made toilet papers on there. Printedtp.com. Where did I miss anything on the Facebook live chat? Oh, wait, the top comments. Okay, nothing here. This is visual, so for the sake of people that are going to listen to this on our podcast, I'm not going to do that one. So don't buy them. Oh yeah, Ryan is basically saying so don't buy it. Did I miss anything in the Facebook live chat? I hope not. Sorry guys if I did. All right, cool. Should we go to the next news?
Yes. 2 Islam teachers are killed after a grenade was thrown into a mosque in the Philippines. A grenade was thrown into a mosque in the southern Philippines where Muslim teachers were sleeping. 2 of them were killed and 4 others were injured. The victims were from Basilan and other nearby provinces who were at the mosque to teach Islam to children. It was the second explosion at a religious site in the southern Philippines, the first one being the bombing of a Catholic cathedral. They have 2 suspects and 1 eyewitness, and they don't believe that this attack was associated with the previous attack at the Catholic cathedral a few days prior.
Can you give context to that previous? Like recently, there was also a bombing of a Catholic church by ISIS in Philippines.
Yes. They believe that one was associated with ISIS, as ISIS has taken credit for it, and it was not anything like this one. This was just a grenade attack. It was thrown in through the window Wednesday. It was dark, and they weren't even from that area. They were traveling Islamic teachers that were sleeping and were killed.
Are they saying they know that it was not associated with that, or are they saying that they're not sure if it was associated with that?
They're saying that they have no reason to believe that it's associated.
So they don't know. It might. So if when they
it very well can be, but there is no evidence that it is.
Yeah. Okay. So they're not saying it's not. They're just saying that there's no evidence that it is. So it could be.
They're agnostic.
Right. So. Do they have any reasons for, like, do they know anything about who was behind this?
They have 2 suspects and 1 eyewitness. So there's 1 person who saw it happen, and then they have 2 suspects that they believe were associated with the attack that actually took part in it.
And what do they know about motivations and stuff?
We don't know anything about motives yet.
I'm gonna lose my shit if I see the top comments are endorsing this.
They don't believe that it was. There was speculation that it might be retaliation from the Catholic cathedral bombing. You know, maybe some Christians retaliating for that. But there's no evidence to suggest that.
So the speculation is that given that the ISIS members in Philippines bombed the Catholic Church, the speculation is that this might be Christians retaliating against Muslims. But that's pure speculations. We have no idea.
Correct.
But Jim, I haven't scrolled down yet in the comment section of the Facebook post. Do you think that there's, like last week, we're going to have some people saying that this is good that they're killing Muslims?
Oh, sure. I mean, especially the fact that they're there to teach children Islam. I think there will likely be a lot of people, okay with this.
Oh my God! I hope not. Let's see. Okay, let's see the top comment. What's the top comment? Okay, so the top comment, Berlin is saying, I'm from the Philippines and it's disturbing to see many haha reactions here. Tell me, haha people, how is it this funny? I love to laugh too. Okay, so the top comment, whoa, you're right. Okay, so the top comment is not endorsing this, but the top comment is pointing to the fact that the top reaction to this is a Facebook haha reaction. So the top, shit, that's fucking crazy. So we got 396 laugh reactions, and the second top reaction to this was 377 crying emoji. So pretty close, but the fact is that this laughing reaction is the top one. That's fucking crazy. Again, this is on Atheist Republic's Facebook page. We have to point out that our community has some problems. A lot of huge problems. Like, we shouldn't shy away from some disgusting views within our own community. We have to point it out and we have to call it out. Go.
Yeah, I want to touch on that too, because lately I've seen a lot of people who are concerned with some of the things that we talk about, worrying that maybe we are endorsing these things. And no, we are in no way endorsing these things. I just want to point out to everybody that we are simply shining a light on this and trying to educate our own community, because it's very obvious that there are many within our community that are uneducated about this and lack empathy and lack these sociological skills that, I mean, you have to remember, we are such a large community and the only thing that we have in common is our atheism. So, I mean, by talking about things like this, we can educate our community.
The second top comment, which should have been the first one because it has both more comments and more reactions. I don't know why Facebook puts the other one out. So Kate is saying, can we just agree that this was a test post and anyone who laughed at this be culled from the group. I don't know this word.
Oh, cold.
Cold. Okay.
Yeah,
From
like
the group,
like removed.
removed from the group. Okay. If someone laughs at a tragedy like this, they are either trolls or devoid of compassion and need to learn how to function in society before being allowed to interact with others again. Kate, I don't agree with removing them from the group for two reasons. First of all, because like you see right now, we can show how big of a problem it is within our own community. If we remove people like this from the group, it's going to be very hard to convince people that we have such a big problem. And also, we can't just give up on people and just remove them from these groups. We need to try and change people. We need to try and show that there are other ways of, you could be against Islam. And it seems pretty obvious, but I guess it has to be said. You can be against Islam and not endorse killing Muslims. Like, fucking hell. Right. Come on.
Well, and the reason most of these fringe communities, these fringe beliefs come into power and into the light is because they are rejected from other groups and they build their own echo chambers. So by kicking these people out, all we're doing is just they'll just seek it elsewhere and they'll build their own communities with these bad beliefs, and it'll just build amongst themselves, and that's not good.
You're not going to convince people that or change anything by removing people from the group. They need to be around for two reasons. First, even if a small percentage of them change, even like one of them changes because they stuck around, that's a win. And I can tell you, a lot of them have changed. I have noticed people that change their views on this. And for the people that are already compassionate, I notice a lot of people in the atheist community that are compassionate, there's still this myth that all atheists are better, or they're all compassionate, or they're all intelligent, and they need to see that it's important for our community not to become very tribal, and I think showing this to them, it helps us, fight that myth.
Right? Yeah, atheists are not immune to bad ideas.
Exactly. Just because you figure that religion is bullshit, that doesn't mean that you don't have other bullshit views. Eric is saying, I'm an atheist. So Eric's comment got 421 reactions and 24 replies, and it's not the top comment. What the hell? What the fuck, Facebook? Eric is saying, I'm an atheist, but it's disturbing that people here would laugh at this. There is nothing about atheism that requires one to be awful. Yes and no, Eric, because it's also, atheism doesn't also require you to be kind. We need more than atheism. Atheism is just a rejection of one bad idea, but there are other bad ideas that we need to reject as well. I think I don't think this one is funny, actually. Elizabeth, good. Anything in the YouTube? Okay. Vibrance is saying the smiles I posted had nothing to do with this article. Yeah, good. Thank you for saying that, Vibrant. Well, we weren't referring to your smiles. Did you post any smiles? Yeah, okay. No, we weren't referring to you. We were referring to the reactions to the Facebook post that we made. Let me see if anybody mentioned Atheist Republic in the Facebook live chat. Okay, yeah, Grant is saying, I think the Philippines is a huge harbor of shitty religious belief. It's sad. Such an amazing place. Okay, yep. Atheism should include humanism also. Atheism shouldn't, it's not atheism that should include humanism. It's everything that should include humanism. Atheism, you don't need to redefine atheism. Atheism is not meant to be an all-encompassing solution to everything. Atheism is just a rejection of one bad idea. But that doesn't mean atheism is enough, right? Atheism is good because it's a rejection of one bad idea, and it should be rejected. But we need more than that. We need humanism, but you don't need, just because we need humanism, that doesn't mean that you need to define humanism into the definition of atheism for us to be humanists. Brian is saying perhaps the Atheist Republic should consider a name change to Skeptic Republics. No, because we think that the main goal of Atheist Republic is to provide protection and community for atheists, and that includes atheists we disagree with. Like if somebody is an atheist and is a, I mean, different atheist communities have different goals, and they don't all have to have the same goal. Atheist Republic is, is trying to provide a community for all atheists, even the ones that we don't really like. We think like if you, for example, if you're a racist atheist, for example, we don't like you and we disagree with you. But if somebody discriminates against you because you're an atheist, we want to be there for you, even if you're a racist atheist, even if you're an atheist that we don't like. We think that we need to protect atheists whenever they're being discriminated against.
Yeah, whenever you're trying to defend and advocate for an oppressed minority, you don't get there by rejecting members based on opposition of beliefs that have nothing to do with what you're trying to normalize.
Okay, so I'm seeing in the YouTube live chat somebody is repetitively saying Jews did 9/11. So we do want, obviously that's fucking stupid, but if you keep repeating that, we're gonna block you for spamming, but not because of your, oh, somebody already did, BJ already took care of it. Yeah, but okay, if you just to be because we want to let everybody say what they have to say. This guy's username is fuck you. If she had said it once, we would have kept it. But because you're flooding the live chat, we're gonna remove you. I mean,
hey, fuck you, fuck you.
Okay, so that's it. Okay, Grant is saying humanism still has ism in it. Well, you shouldn't be sensitive to ism just because there's so many things that are good. I don't understand people that are sensitive. I don't know if that's what you're saying, Grant, but nothing is inherently good or bad just because it has ism at the end of it. Skepticism is a good thing, and that's an ism. Okay. Should we go to the next news? Yes, let's go.
A Texas wedding venue refuses gay couples over religious beliefs. Aaron Lucero, who got engaged with his fiancé, Jeff Cannon, last summer, denounced the venue at Waterstone in Salina for refusing to serve them for their wedding. The owner of the venue said that due to their religious beliefs, they did not host LGBT plus weddings or receptions. The couple posted on social media, and according to them, the owner's beliefs and rejection of the same-sex weddings was not clear from the venue's website or from its listing on the knot.com, a wedding planning website. The venue is not the only place that has rejected them.
Wait, so is Texas a place where
yes, yes, people are protected by refusing services for religious reasons.
So wait, people are protected, but is being a homosexual a protected class in Texas or not?
Oh yeah, it's protected in all 50 states.
No.
But it's not. But it's not protected in the sense that you would call it protected. But it is.
No, that's what I meant. Is it legally? Are you? Because I know in the United States, in some states, being gay, it's a legally protected class, and in some states it's not. And depending on the state, you being rejected because you were gay could be considered a hate crime or not. For example, in every 50 states, if you were of the United States, if you were rejected because you were black, that would be illegal. But in some states in the United States, if you're rejected because you're gay, it would be illegal, and in some states it wouldn't. So in Texas, would it be illegal for you to get rejected because you're gay?
No, not at all.
Okay, so that's a problem.
Okay, but I will go as far to say that the knot.com, which is this website that hosts these other venues and these other vendors and wedding places. Wedding places sounds so stupid. Places that have a wedding. They did take them off of their website because it does say in their terms of service that they do not discriminate based on race or sexual orientation.
So Yuval in the Facebook live chat is saying it's a private venue and they have the right to do it. If a vegan venue would refuse a function of a cattle breeder, no one would make a fuss about it. Okay, so
Okay.
my question to you, Will, is that, so do you think the law in the United States that makes it illegal for them to refuse service to black people, for example, if the same venue or restaurant or anywhere else refuse service to somebody because they were black, that would be illegal? Will, do you think that law should be removed? Do you think it's if a private company has the right to refuse service because somebody is black or not? Jim, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I will go on to say that in order to be promoted on the not.com's website, this person, the owners of the venue, had to agree to the terms of service stating that they cannot discriminate based on religious reasons. So they would have to marry Muslim couples. They do not discriminate based on sexual orientation, meaning that they would have to marry gay couples. And also, race. They don't discriminate against race or mixed races.
Wait, you said that they can't. It's the law that they can't discriminate against sexual orientation?
It is against the term of services for the website that was hosting the vendor.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a private company. They could change the term of service on the whim.
No, they can't, because it's not their website. This couple accessed them through the website, the not.com, where they found the vendor called the venue, and the venue was a vendor of the not.com, so he had to agree to their terms of services in order to operate behind them.
But that doesn't make it illegal. That just makes it violations of another company's terms of service.
Right.
That's not the law. Terms of service is not a law. But anyway,
it's breach of contract.
Yeah, it's a breach of contract, which makes it civil court issue between two companies, not between this couple and the company.
But it's still illegal.
No, and not unless the other company wants to sue for civil damages, not for.
Whether they want to or not, it's like statutory rape. The parents can choose whether or not. No, Jim, can I finish?
But I want to move on to something else, because you're confusing civil law with criminal law.
But you're confusing legality with illegality. Just because it's civil does not make it not any less illegal.
No, it does actually. But anyways, what I'm wondering is that, given that criminal law wouldn't back these couple up, could they sue for damages? Like, could they sue the company, say, this was not on your website, we already made plans, we already had, this is what you cost us, and sue for damages? Maybe they could go that route.
No, they can't. In Texas, they don't. The LGBTQ plus community don't have the authority to defend themselves against discrimination.
This has nothing. You didn't listen to what I said. This has nothing to do with. This wouldn't be because of claiming for discrimination. This would be suing the company for costs and damages, not for discrimination.
Costs and damages for under what pretense?
Under that they planned something, and because of. And it wasn't clearly advertised by the company that they wouldn't be welcome, and this is how much it cost them to switch over. Yuval is saying in the Facebook live chat, black is how you are born, and a gay wedding is an action, not just the way you were born. Being gay, Yuval, is how you are born. People are born gay. I think you know that. All right, let me see what the top comment is on Facebook post. Jeremy is saying, so what? Time to stop forcing your views on others. Find a venue that supports your idea. Pretty simple. I wonder if, so these people that are saying this, are they consistent with if the venue also refused service to a black couple? Like, would they say that shouldn't also be the law? Dennis is saying, good, private businesses shouldn't be able to limit their customers if they want. It's their loss. Again, same question. Should private companies also be able to refuse services to black couples because they don't like black people? Should that law that currently exists in the United States be removed? Do you guys think the same thing? Kevin is saying, damn, there are a lot of Christians on here whining that they should have rights to discriminate. Kevin, just because they're saying that doesn't mean they're Christian. Okay, so, and then Kevin continues, and be protected by their religion. We don't have religious rights in America. We have religious freedom. There is a difference. That's not the argument that they're making. They're making the argument that these are private companies and the government shouldn't be able to force people who they serve. But again, that would be my question. Do these people that think that private companies shouldn't be forced to serve what they serve, who they want to serve, would they be consistent in their views that if any private companies let's say like the stores in the United States put a sign, no blacks, no Jews, should that be allowed in the United States for stores to deny services to blacks and Jews?
Absolutely not.
No, yeah, no, but I know you think that, but I'm
yeah,
asking the people that are saying that companies shouldn't be forced. Amy is saying, "How about I don't serve Christians?" Yeah, Christians, and I'm an ambulance driver. They can call for another one, right? So Amy is saying, "How about we respond by having private businesses saying we don't serve Christians here?" Yeah, I mean. The people, I know a lot of atheists that are defending this would say, yeah, the private companies should be able to do that, to say we don't serve Christians. But I bet you a lot of Christians that support this venue, they would lose their shit if a private company says we don't serve Christians here. They would go, yeah. Jose is saying, I hope this company is doing the same to couples that cheat, had premarital sex, and have been divorced. Jose is pointing at the hypocrisy here. Let's see if anybody in the YouTube live chat has any comment about this. There's a lot of we have attracted. You know, I did an episode with Yuval, who's in actually Facebook live chat right now, on Israel and Judaism and secularism in Israel, and that's why we have attracted a lot of anti-Semites, and now that's what you see our YouTube live chat has been infected with anti-Semites right now that are constantly trying to flood the page. Thank you so much to Christian Beach for fixing this right now. Again, we want to allow all comments, but when you post the same message so much that you just ruin the live chat, then Beach and Christy are cleaning it up. So thank you for that. Do you see anything? I will read the Facebook live chat.
No, I don't.
Okay, so Yuval is responding again. I guess it's just between me and Yuval. Oh, and John Brown is saying something. Yuval is saying, I know that being gay is how you were born. I would acknowledge the right of a racist venue owner not to accommodate a mixed-race wedding, which is not the same as simply denying service to a gay Jew blacks. What about, okay, but Yuval, what about just not a mixed race? What about a racist venue that just says... what about a restaurant that has a sign up, no blacks, no Jews? Do you think that should be legal? Do you endorse that? John Brown is saying, Atheist Republic, there are companies that post signs saying that they refuse service to Muslims and Jews. Okay, I know. John, do you think that should be legal, or do you think that should be illegal? Grant is saying they will lose money, plain and simple. Well, I don't know, Grant, because a lot of Christians might want to be you know, I was also in favor of letting the private market do its jobs when society has reached a level of maturity. I'm very much for government not getting involved when the private market seems to be taking care of something. But when the society is not mature enough to take care of something, I do endorse the government getting involved. For example, if the social backlash to a company saying no blacks was strong enough for them to lose money enough, then I don't think the government should get involved. Government okay, the social backlash seems to be enough for this to be taken care of. But obviously, for example, in the 1960s and 70s, the society was not if there were so many restaurants that refused service to black people for there to be in need of a law. We want our government to be better than the majority of the people. But I do think the government needs to step back when society reaches a certain level of maturity for the social backlash to be strong enough. I don't know if, for example, right now in Texas, I don't know if the social backlash is strong enough. If, for example, if a venue says we don't serve gay couples here, they might lose money. But if Christians see that they're losing money because of liberals and atheists or whatever are leaving them 1-star Yelp reviews or saying boycott or putting a campaign to boycott that venue, then the Christians might actually respond by like, let's go support our Christian businesses, and they actually might even make money because of all the attention that they're getting. So I don't know if the social backlash is strong enough for us to leave this to the private market. I myself consider myself like a supporter of very limited government intervention, but that doesn't mean I'm endorse no government intervention. I do think the government needs to step in when the market fails or when the society is not mature enough yet. Just exactly the same way we introduced laws where we're denying having 2 separate fountains for colored people, that became illegal because the society, and it's a good thing that it became illegal because the society wasn't mature enough yet. Atheist Republic saying no, that Yuval is saying no, no, that's wrong. Denying the presence of a person is not the same as denying a specific action. Well, that's the okay. So I'm giving you the exact same example, Yuval. What if the same venue said that we will not have a wedding for these couple because they're black? Would you endorse that? It's the exact same situation. Anyways, we need to move on. I'm just going to read one last comment by Grant. I get you, but if they remain ignorant, people pick up on this fast, and America, Canada is a huge melting pot at this point in time. Okay, that would be the last comment. What the hell is happening to our YouTube live chat? I think Christy and Bijou are working overtime with this anti-Semites.
Yeah, and neither one of them can ban. So if you can give them that option, that'd be great. So they can ban that dude. Wait,
how do I already made them admin. How do I give them options?
I have no idea.
They just delete them. So tell me, see, okay, maybe do I only have the option to ban because they're admin? Report, put in timeout. Are you able to put them in timeout? Because I don't even have that option.
Yeah. I can put them in timeout, but just for like 300 seconds.
I don't even have that option, apparently. Okay. So, should we go to the next news? Let me actually load it first. Hold on. Let me close this one. Sorry if you guys are commenting in Facebook and want me to read it. We do have to move to the next news. Okay, Jim. Next news.
Virginia Senate passes a bill allowing guns in church because God's not enough. A bill was passed in the Virginia State Senate allowing citizens to bring their guns to church. The bill passed on a strict party line vote, 21-19. The Senate engaged in a debate before the vote. Republicans argued that individual churches should decide if they want guns in their pews, while Democrats warned that worshipers could wind up victimized with their own guns. But both Republican and Democrat churchgoers are showing how little faith they have in their own God to protect them in these instances.
Wait, just to be clear, when the title where it says because God's not enough, that's not what their argument is. This is just a friendly atheist added to the title just to make fun of them. Himmet Mehta has a good sense of humor. But what was their own reasoning for why they want guns in churches? Do you know?
Well, yeah, because I mean, in Texas there was
this is Virginia.
Well, there's been several church shootings, right? But I'm talking about the church shootings.
They want to defend themselves in churches. That's what they want.
Correct, right? Because there have been a lot of well, not a lot, but a rise in church shootings recently, especially in 2018. In 2018, we saw quite a few church shootings. So this was a measure. Somewhat along the lines of, wanting to bring police officers in schools, like them trying to justify using firepower to fight firepower. But
why can't they just have security guards and police or something like that?
And that was something that was brought up after the Texas shooting. It escapes me which town it was, but they were arguing that they should have on-duty police officers or armed security guards or something along that measure But I believe that this was argued because it won't cost the church anything. They won't have to
it seems
pay.
like a very bad idea. Like in a crowded place.
Of course it is.
Like in a crowded
Of course
place,
it is.
when you give people guns, like there's gonna be a lot of friendly fire. If,
right.
What
yep.
if
I remember my grandma, when she was in church, she was an expert. She could reach into her purse and pull out a piece of candy and pass it to all the kids, down the pew, and still maintain eye contact with the preacher. And I know many other old ladies do too. What's going to stop them from reaching in there and instead of pulling out a Werther's Original, they pull the trigger of a Glock?
I mean, if they were worried about more church shootings and this was their solution, you basically invited now people to be able to, whoever has bad intentions, to come in the church and sit down, without you having to kick them out because they have guns with them. You know what I mean? Like you made the security of the church a little bit more challenging right now. I mean, the obvious people. Let's put the obvious jokes out. People will say like, "Hey, you guys said the reason." These are the same people that say that the reason why there's more shootings in schools is because they kicked God out of schools. There's no more prayers in schools, and that's why there's more shooting. And now that there's shootings in churches, people are like, "Well, there's tons of prayers in churches, so why do we have shootings in churches?" And yeah, I get that joke, but it's hard for me to laugh at that because we're talking about people fucking dying, right? So I don't know. But I mean, it's fair to point out. Just the reason why it's fair to point out is because when you have to point out the hypocrisy of it, so that maybe some people get convinced about the fact that this is not, when people suggest ridiculous solutions, it really needs to be called out because in favor of better solutions for the sake of other people. But let me see what the top comment on Facebook is. Will is saying, my parents' church pay people to work security. Apparently that wasn't something I was supposed to laugh at during Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah. Oh, why is that the top comment? It has only one laugh reaction. Let me see. Gary's should be. The high point is confirmation that there is no God. Laura saying, my thoughts and prayers are with them. I think she's saying that as a joke. Aaron is saying, why is there a high point? Why is there a high point? What do people mean about this? Why is there a high point?
Just fucked up people with their. I mean, I understand that people are saying this with a sense of humor and they're saying it with, tongue in cheek. But
what does that mean? I don't get
it. It's just say it again and I'll explain it.
Say that high point. High point. What does it mean?
Right, like a silver lining.
Oh, okay. Okay, I don't know. So I hope this doesn't. I mean, here's another thing that I'm worried about. Can you, Jim, turn it off? Turn off your phone before our calls. This is one thing I'm worried about our community. That if this, I hope that this doesn't lead into a charity, not a charity, to a tragedy. Jim, turn that off. Oh, Jim, we lost Jim. Okay, Jim is going to be back. But I'm going to repeat myself. If this turns into a tragedy, what I'm worried about is that a lot of people in our community are going to be happy. Like, look, haha, they brought guns in the church and now people are dead. And my expectations of the comment section on Atheist Republic is very low, that I'm pretty sure that if this leads into a tragedy, there are going to be comments like that. Jim, are you back? Let me hang up and get Jim back. Fucking hell. I get better connections from people in third world countries than when I call Jim. Let me read some of the top comments while we wait for Jim. Let me see if there is. Nothing here. Let me see if there's any. High point is the gun manufacturer. Oh, okay. This is why I didn't get the joke. High point is the gun manufacturer. Interesting. Yes, army and security guards. Yeah, I guess they can't afford security guards. Ah, fuck it, hell, Jim. But if they if they can't afford security guards, then that means that their followers are not contributing enough for their own security. Jim. Unbelievable. You know, Jim's grandpa just died recently, so he's supporting it. He's going to see family, so that's why he's calling from a new place. Should I call him from a different place? There was a call in the background, and that's why he. Jim. All right, I'm gonna do the next news myself. Sorry, guys. Sorry about this. Be patient with us. Oh. There we go. Jim.
Hi. Sorry.
What the fuck?
This phone line, I don't know. I'm at my dad's house. I don't know what's going on.
You got a call from somebody, and that
I didn't call. My dad got a call.
So can you turn off your phone so that doesn't happen?
It's not my phone.
Oh. Wait, your connection is lousy still. I'm very hard on Jim sometimes when you do this. Jim? Alright, I'm gonna read the next news myself. Jim? Jim. Okay. Sorry, guys. The next news. Alright, let me read the next news myself. Japan Supreme Court rules transgender people still have to get sterilized. So the summary here is the Supreme Court of Japan has upheld a law which forces transgender people to get sterilized before they can legally... Wait, let me actually put my camera on. Again, guys, sorry about all this mess. I'm going to be very angry with Jim. Here, let me see if I can...
Sorry, it's fixed. I got the phone unplugged.
Okay, Jim. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Read the next news.
Japan's Supreme Court rules transgender people still have to get sterilized. The Supreme Court of Japan has upheld a law which forces transgender people to get sterilized before they can legally change their gender. An appeal filed by Takakito Usui, a trans man who wants to change the gender on his official documents, has been rejected by a panel of 4 justices. Usui was trying to overturn Law 111, which requires any person seeking to change their legal gender to have no reproductive glands or reproductive glands that have permanently lost function. The justices said that Law 111 prevents problems in relationships between parents and children, which could result in confusion and abrupt changes across Japanese society. The Japanese government announced that it would subsidize gender-affirming surgery for trans people just as long as they were not receiving hormone treatment and did not have any other pre-existing conditions. Applicants are required to be sterile, single, without children under 20, and undergo a psychiatric evaluation to receive diagnosis of gender identity disorder.
This seems fucked up.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and it's so sad that I from what I've seen a lot of support from the Japanese trans community, just as much support as I have seen opposition, because they're happy that they are able to do this
So wait, just to be clear,
transition.
you're saying the transgender community in Japan is supporting this.
Some of them, yes.
Why?
From what I've seen, I've seen the same amount of support as I have seen people against it from the trans community in Japan, because it allows them to save face with their family, which is complete bullshit, and also allows them to fulfill their dreams and fully be able to express themselves as their preferred gender.
So this is the comment that I got from one of our admins at the Atheist Republic's LGBTQ consulate. Kyle mentioned this. It said so he wanted to add some context into what Japan is doing, and when I say context, I'm not saying excusing it, but just some context. And I'm not agreeing with I'm not sure if I'm going to agree with all or most of his points, but this is saying he's saying it's a difficult issue in Japan. The Japanese legal system isn't as clearly separated from cultural expectations as other countries' judicial branches. The Japanese Supreme Court is seen as an arbiter of preserving current Japanese values as well as laws. Law 111 or 111, I don't know, is actually intended to provide relief to trans people while attempting to spare families from shock when their loved ones transition. That's why the law also requires they be single and have no children. But how does that help? Aren't Japanese people wanting to always have children? Like, at least the traditional ones? It's an absolutely bullshit law. So Kyle continues as saying, it's an absolutely bullshit law that favors the sensibilities of families over the rights of the individual, but that can't be surprising in a collectivist culture. The silver lining is that the justices believe by upholding the strict interpretation of the current law, they may challenge Japanese society to confront its values and push for collective and cohesive changes that provide moral legal recognition to trans rights. Japanese society rarely moves forward with changes unless it's agreed upon by the majority. Again, it's bullshit, but hardly surprising.
Godless Heathen in the chat is saying that transgender people sterilize themselves as part of the hormone replacement therapy process, making it a law just a waste of time. But what you're not reading here is that part of the gender affirming surgery, one of the conditions is that they are not receiving hormone treatment, so they can't be undergoing hormone replacement therapy.
I mean, just any law that tells people that they need to get sterilized is fucking, you know, it just raised so many alarm bells to me. Like any law that forces you to do something with your body is already, you know, is fucking crazy. I don't know. I mean, some people are saying some silver lining because it's a step moving in the right direction. I don't know if I can agree with that or not. Maybe,
No.
you know, I'm not sure because, I mean, Kyle seems to have looked into this more than we have. But even if it is, which I'm not sure it is, we could still be like, well, it's still fucking bullshit. Like, for example, if again, this is not at all equivalent here, but if you have a country which says that, you know, we should behead people for a crime, and then they move for a crime that is not a crime at all, and then they say like, okay, let's just give them life in prison. Maybe it's a step in the right direction or whatever, but you still call it that as the bullshit that it is. I mean, and I don't know if I buy this argument that Japan moves slowly. Japan has moved away from a lot of its tradition very quickly since, you know, World War II, and even before that. Like, the amount of things that they changed about the way that they run politics and economy and culture has transitioned in, you know, in such speedy ways. To think that things have to change slowly in Japan is bullshit. Japan has proven to be able to change things for the better very fast, and, you know, demanding, you know, just saying things can happen, things need to happen slowly. I don't agree with that. I think this is a change that needs to be I don't agree with this, the fact that there's a silver lining here. I think anything
Right.
other than complete tolerance should not be accepted.
Right. Yeah. It's almost as like this kind of seems like to me a eugenics attempt to me, because by the some people's mindset is by refusing these people the ability to reproduce or to bank their sperm or eggs for future reproduction. They believe that they will limit this population. That they won't allow them to reproduce, and thinking that they're because if you think about it, they're really cutting off any possible genealogical continuation. They're completely cutting off a family line.
Florence on Facebook, on the Facebook post saying, I thought without religion this community would act more with compassion and logic, but turns out humans are just assholes since the dawn of time, with or without religion. No, Florence, that's bullshit. It's not a black and white thing. People see people doing shitty things without religion and think like, well, they would give up. Because, look, here's an example of people doing shitty things without religion. So what's the point of finding religion? Well, because it's not that black and white. Without religion, everything is not going to get solved just because there's no religion. But it's better. Okay, so without religion, you're still going to have bigotry. Without religion, you're still going to have intolerance. Without religion, you're still going to have hate. Without religion, you're still going to have... Jim, I'm going to lose my shit over if you don't fix the situation with your phone. But anyways, let me go back and say everything again. Without religion, you're going to have bigotry. You're going to have hatred. You're going to have intolerance. You're going to have violence. But with religion, you're going to have more bigotry, more violence, more intolerance. You're not going to solve all the world's problems without religion, but it is an improvement. It is definitely an improvement. In the Facebook live chat, Grant is saying, what's wrong with that? The world's population is almost an epidemic right now, minus all the conspiracy theories. Okay, Grant, first of all, world's population is not an epidemic. If you actually look into the data, people predicted this people thought that we would never be able to have a world with this population right now, and we would have. Technology advances more than the population growth. So it's not an epidemic, but even if it was, the solution is not to force people to sterilize. If in certain countries where we do have population problem, like for example the Philippines, you don't go and pass laws forcing people to sterilize. You educate people about ways to avoid pregnancies. Anything else you want to read, Jim?
Nope.
No? Okay. Okay, should we go to the next news?
Yeah. The United Arab Emirates Gender Equality Awards were won entirely by men. All of the winners of an initiative designed to foster gender equality on the workplace were in the United Arab Emirates. Certificates and medals were awarded by Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President of the United Arab Emirates and ruler of Dubai, in the categories of Best Government Entity Supporting Gender Balance, Best Federal Authority Supporting Gender Balance, and Best Gender Balance Initiative at a ceremony on Sunday. The tweet celebrating the awards was met with complete mockery.
Wait, so did they not see? I mean, UAE is a very rich country, and I'm pretty sure they hire like PR directors and media analysts. Did nobody point out to them that this is going to look fucking ridiculous when they have a gender equality awards where there's not a single woman present? Like, did they not realize how much of a ridicule and mockery they're going to be facing? Like, are they that out of touch with the rest of the world that they didn't know what's going to happen here?
I mean, you wouldn't think that. But it didn't take long for everybody else to see that it was just won by men. So you would think while they were, setting it up and everything, you know. But I mean, like for instance, one of the men, the in their defense, you know, the way that they're defending this, they're saying that one of the people that was nominated, he's the one who introduced maternity leave policy into the military. I mean, but the problem is that all these people are leaders in the government. And so the fact that they don't have any women leaders in the government that are promoting these things, I mean, kind of says it all.
Debs is saying, but all of the PR and media people are men. So, but Debs, you don't need to be a woman to see that this is ridiculous. I mean, a lot of people that pointed out that, and a lot of people that are making fun of this and ridiculing this are also men. So, I mean, even if you're a man, you should have, even if their PR directors are men, somebody should have been enough in touch with this, with the rest of the world to be like, guys, this might not look, might not look good. Somebody there.
I think that's what she's saying, is that there aren't any women that are defending this on behalf
no,
of
that's
them.
not what she's saying. She's saying that I've said that why, if these people with this much money, they should have somebody in their marketing or PR department that should have said like, hey guys, this looks bad. But nobody did. But Debs is saying, well, maybe they're all men. Yeah, but men are not blind to how bad this might look. Alex is saying, maybe these men are better at gender equality than the women. Maybe they simply deserve the awards. Yes, okay, so Alex, the thing is, first, I have two reactions to that. First of all, even if they are better, even if you're right, they should have known what this is going to look like. They should have known that of the amount of ridicule. I mean, the whole point of having an award ceremony is PR. It's the image. That's the whole point of having an award ceremony. So they had an award ceremony for the point of PR, and they didn't know what kind of a fucking backlash they're going to get from this. They should have known. If they don't care about image, then why even have an award ceremony? And with regards to maybe, so I'm all for equal opportunity, not equal outcome. I think it doesn't solve anything if you just put a woman or a minority on a board just for the sake of diversity. I think that's ridiculous. But I do think when you see a board that is only men or only purple people or only something, I don't know, only whatever, it indicates a problem at somewhere else. It indicates a problem somewhere else that doesn't get solved by you manually changing the boardroom or changing what people in power. So it's so when you see, you know, for example, all the people in power are men, for example, in a country or in whatever, in the companies or whatever, you shouldn't see that as something that you can solve by just forcing women on the boardrooms or in power. It should be an indication of a problem somewhere else that needs to be fixed. Like, you fix these problems by looking at the source and try to see if there's equal opportunity somewhere. Which is if it's all men, it shows that there's not equal opportunity. Okay, so I'm not in favor of just like manually changing these things. To me, if you manually put women on somewhere just to make it 50-50, then it's kind of like putting lipstick on a pig and thinking that you fixed it. You didn't fix it. The problem was much earlier. Let me know if I think this is an unpopular opinion. Let me know if you disagree with me or not. Okay, sorry, Grant, you mentioned something that it's about the previous news. Sorry, I missed that. You were saying the thing is that winners might in the position, I think this is not grammatically correct, in the position to make the change at the moment, and in the future there will be women there too. So you were saying that maybe, oh, I think he wants to say woman. So you were saying that maybe women were not in the position to make any changes. Again, so that by itself shows that this is a problem, okay? But again, why even have an award ceremony if that's because if for example, let's say you're in a country that right now men are the only people in the position to fight for gender equality, and there are men that are trying to create a future where women could also fight for gender equality. That's fair. but don't have a fucking award ceremony that looks this stupid then, okay? Because again, award ceremonies are for PR, and this is bad PR.
Right. I think it's wanting them to get the world. I mean, initially they were wanting to get the world to recognize that they were making these changes. I mean, and I'm guessing it's in response to Saudi Arabia letting women drive, you know, and them trying to say, you know, basically say, well, you know, we can't be seen as more, you know, as less progressive than Saudi Arabia. And so I think it was a PR move to get them to say, hey, look what we're doing over here for women. Like, we're pro women, you know, we're doing all these things. But I don't think they looked anywhere past the surface to see, hey, maybe we should hire some women before we say that we are, you know, promoting equality.
Okay, so if I was their PR director, I would be like, here's a great PR move, okay? Announce that we were about to have an award ceremony, but because we are trying to fight for a society where we could have given more awards to women, and there are no women that are in a position to be fighting for gender equality, we cancel our award ceremony in hopes for a day where we could have an award ceremony where women are getting awarded. That would be an amazing PR move. People are like, wow, these people are self-reflecting and noticing there's a problem, and seeing, you know, that would have been people are like, wow, good job, right? They canceled the award ceremony because they said that we recognize that we're not there yet, and that would have been received as much PR wise. That would have been received much better. Even if the men, we shouldn't be like trying to. Like, if men are fighting for gender equality, we shouldn't be like telling them not to, just because they're not women. Obviously, we want men to fight for gender equality, but again, this is not the right PR move. Anyways, Grant is saying, liberate women in the East, it will change the world. Yeah, I mean, if half of your population is not involved in shit, obviously that's not good for your society. Grant is saying, screw the reward ceremony. I agree. Okay, good. By the way, Facebook live chat people, if you don't tag Atheist Republic, I'm not reading it. Oh, also, a lot of people watch these later and they get confused because I'm reading the Facebook live chat, and when it's getting released, they're like, why are you not reading my comment? Well, because this was pre-recorded. Let me see what the top comments are. Andrew is saying, Yusuf, congratulations for beating your second wife only 8 times this week. Truly paragon of feminist ideals. That's not fair. I don't know. We don't know who are these people that are getting these rewards. I mean, if
yeah, that's not fair.
I mean, if
you don't know if it's his second wife or his third wife.
No, Joe.
Sorry.
No, I mean, these men could actually genuinely be people that are actually trying to get women equal opportunity. They could genuinely be men that are trying to do that. Right. But they shouldn't have showed up for this award ceremony.
Michel on the live chat saying, would it be better to change people's mind on sexism? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that should be everybody's goal.
Yeah.
Mrs. Snarky says, we need all hands on deck when it comes to fighting for gender equality. Exactly. Absolutely. And that's a great response. I mean, to that, that previous comment, that's exactly what we need to do. We need to unite and fight these bad ideas together.
Yeah. Women's rights is humans' rights. It's not.
Sure.
You don't need to check what you have between your legs before you fight for women's rights.
We cannot get equality without empowering women.
And men that are fighting for equality. Paul is saying, yes, but they all had the decency to accept the award in a dress. Well done. Well done, lads. Okay, that's the joke. I'll accept the joke. And somebody that I can't pronounce the name is saying, men are supposed to take care of women, so they are more deserved for the awards. What? Do you see any women fight for men's rights? Well, actually, yes, I do. I've seen some women that fight for women's rights. John is saying, religion, a never-ending source of hilarity. Okay. Okay. This guy that thinks there are no women fighting for men's rights, that's actually pretty sexist. There are a lot of women that I know that fight for men's rights. Should we go to the next news?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mayor of Indonesian city is using the military to hunt down LGBTI people. Mayeldi Ansarullah, mayor of Padang in the province of West Sumatra, says he is using the military to hunt down LGBTI people and subject them to conversion therapy and exorcism. When victims are found, they are then coached by the TNI, which is the military there in Padang. He claims that he's using the help of ulama or Islamic scholars in order to perform ruqya, which is a form of exorcism on the individual.
Wait, they're using the army or they're using exorcism?
They're using the military to capture the people, and once they capture them, they're converting them using this exorcism technique called ruqya. It's an Islamic exorcism where it can be done in one of two ways. They recite some of the Quran into their hand like this, cupped hands, palm to palm, and then they rub it on the person, or they will take a cup of water and recite the same
Zamzam water.
Yeah, the Zamzam water, and recite an incantation, the same Quranic verses over it, and then blow onto the water, and then use the water for administering the exorcism. So it's the same woo-woo bullshit that you see in Catholicism, but it's like McDonald's and Wendy's. Like, the kids' meals are kind of the same, but you get a different toy.
What? Well, that's a weird twist, Jim. But wait, so they're sending out the military to capture gay people and LGBT, all of the LGBT people, and they're bringing exorcists to exorcise the jinns or the demons out of them.
Yes.
Is this Indonesia or is this World of Warcraft? Like you have your soldiers and you have your wizards and like, what the fuck? This is fucking crazy.
Right.
Is this legal? So this is just one city. It's not all of Indonesia, but is this legal according to the rest of Indonesia's laws? I mean, I guess it is.
From what I've read, it seems like he's doing this all over the province. Like his reach is extending from just Padang.
Wait, so he's a mayor and he's moving to other cities?
Well, yes, because other cities are in support of this.
Wait, who is this guy next to him in the picture? That guy doesn't have an Indonesian outfit. It looks like Gulf Arab outfit. Is somebody from some Arab countries coming in and supporting this?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we have these Islamic scholars that they're bringing in. These ulema, I guess is how you say it. Which is just a group of Islamic scholars that study the Quran and the laws and the teachings. Yeah, so they're considered, like high priests, like experts on this shit.
Yeah, I don't know what this picture is, but it might be an indication of Arab involvement. I mean, Islam is just Arab involvement in Indonesia, but this seems like it's being exported from somewhere else. But it's fucking crazy that. Is there like a human rights campaign against this? By the way, there's a lot of background noise, Jim. Is there a human rights campaign against this or something?
Yeah, I mean, there are other people who are speaking out against this, but as far as Indonesia, I mean, nobody's really speaking out against it within Indonesia. Not any real measurable defense, but it has gained national traction, and there are many people who are speaking out against it on Twitter. And other social media platforms.
I have in Facebook live chat saying he's an ulama. Or you mean he's part of the ulama? So yeah, we were right. We need to pay more attention to Indonesia, by the way. A lot of people that fight Islam don't pay enough attention to Indonesia, which is the largest Islamic country in the fucking world. I think the reason people don't pay attention to it is because it's not in the Middle East, and most people care about Islam and its relationship to politics in the Middle East. But I mean, and also it's hard to find atheist activists or gay rights activists in Indonesia that speak English. We need to build a connection with the activists there and support them some way. So if you know any activists, atheist activists or any human rights activists in Indonesia that would be interested in coming and talking to us about this. I mean, I know it's not safe there. Atheism is a crime in Indonesia, so it's kind of tough. So yeah, I don't know what to do, but we do need to highlight Indonesia a little bit more. This is really fucked up. I mean, this guy is doing this and it's legal and he's getting away with it. You could. You can just send out the military to collect LGBT people and have people trying to exercise them en masse. This is fun. I mean, Chechnya is getting more attention than this, isn't it? Maybe it hasn't started.
Right.
Yeah.
Renzo Nealon in the live chat saying this is happening more and more frequently across Indonesia. There is no legal protection against anti-LGBT discrimination in Indonesia, which makes it hard to tackle these actions. And he goes on to say, and the national legislature in Jakarta is considered to be, is considering banning same-sex activity altogether. That's really interesting. We're gonna have to look into that.
Grant is saying, because they are so backward and barbaric in their foolish decisions, I want to live a system when all this horse shit is just gone. Well, we're working on it, Grant. Another godless atheist is saying, I'm going to Indonesia for Mythmas. I think that's an atheist way of saying Christmas. For Mythmas holidays this year. Is this only happening in Sumatra? Is it only happening in Sumatra, Jim?
Well, I mean, as far as I can see, in West Sumatra, Padang is just one city in the whole province of West Sumatra. But from what I see, it's pretty widespread across all of Indonesia.
If you are from Indonesia and you're listening to us or you speak English, please go to atheistrepublic.com and leave a voicemail about the situation there and anything that you've experienced. There's a green button on our website that on most of our pages that if you click, you could just leave a voicemail reporting any situation. All your voicemails will get broadcasted on our Atheist Republic Voicemails podcast. So that's a very good way of and you don't have to leave your it does ask you for your name, but it's optional. You don't have to leave any name or anything like that. So if you want to report situations like that from Indonesia, please go to our website and do so. What? I don't understand this one. Okay, so anything. Okay, so there were some really good comments by Christy about the previous news that we missed. Sorry for that, Christy. Renzo, you read both comments by Renzo?
Yes.
Bij is saying, is Indonesia Sunni Salafi? Well, I know it's Sunni. I don't know if it's Salafi. I think it's getting more Salafi. Yeah. Is it Salafi?
I don't know if it's Salafi, but it's definitely
Sunni. Okay. Actually, yeah. Can somebody look that up? Which there's 4 schools of Sunni Islamic school of thought. Which one is Indonesia? Let me see the top comment here. The top comment here is actually, I think, from a Muslim. The reason why sometimes the Muslim comments show up at the top on our Facebook page is because they get a lot more replies, and ever since Facebook put angry and laugh reactions available, they also get more reactions as well, so they show up at the top. So Hamato is saying, kudos to Indonesia, at least they aren't corrupt and adhere to moral values unlike the West. What the fuck up the comment. So Hamto is endorsing a country where they send out the military to hunt down gay and trans people and bring them around for exorcism. That's what Hamto is endorsing. Good job, Hamto. Fucking hell. Armand is saying they're just doing this in the name of the most peaceful religion on earth. I think that joke is so old now. I'm tired of that joke. James is saying, I applaud this page for standing on the right side of equality, helping show the injustice to LGBT globally. Oh, thank you, James. Larry saying, can't wait till the headline, same mayor caught blowing some dude in a truck stop bathroom. I guess that's just like the stereotype that anybody that is homophobic is probably gay themselves. I don't know if that stereotype is true, but it's just a joke, so whatever. Kermit is saying, whoever hearted this, I hope you get hit by a car. Oh, fucking hell, Kermit. First of all, the people that heart this, maybe they're hearting this because they are happy that we're sharing it.
It's Shafi.
Oh, Shafi. Okay. Shafi School of Thought. And also, you shouldn't endorse, bodily harm on people, even if they're bigots. I don't agree with that. Scott is saying, okay, no more foreign aid for them. Wait, there's foreign aid to Indonesia? I don't think there's foreign aid to Indonesia. Maybe I'm
I mean, I'm sure there is to some extent. I mean, but I don't know to what. Probably, I mean, mostly humanitarian. I wouldn't think there'd be anything infrastructure wise or.
Yeah, B just saying don't see what school they follow, but 99% Sunni. But Jim is saying it's Shafi'i.
Yeah.
Mars is saying it says
99%.
No, 99% is Sunni. Mars is saying
yes, but 99% of the Sunni are Shafi.
Oh, okay, so 99% of the 99%. Mars is saying it says Wikipedia the major school of Islamic jurisprudence is Shafi'i. Okay, good, thank you. Good. So yeah, activists from Indonesia, please help us out, educate us. If you see anything, if you hear anything, please go to Atheist Republic and report it by recording your audio. We need your voices. We need to build a bridge. I mean, we've done a very good job, I think, with building bridges with a lot of atheists in the Middle East, in Israel, in Iran, in Arab countries, in Turkey. We have done, even when it comes to outside of the Middle East, we have done a very good job in building bridges with Malaysian atheists. But Indonesia is still a black hole for us. We've gotten some fan signs where people post Atheist Republic and Indonesia flag or from Indonesia and sent us. But we haven't built that community yet in Indonesia. We need to reach out to them and we need to support them and highlight their causes.
Right. It's just so hard because it's hard to find somebody in Indonesia who will be public with this, who will, I mean, because we need feet on the ground, and it's really hard for atheists in Indonesia.
Yuval also is confirming that it's Shafi'i Sunni, but also have a million Shias and 400,000 Ahmadis. Okay, thank you guys.
But it's less than 1% Shia, and it's like 0.01%
Ahmadi.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's go to the next news.
Christian broadcaster says that white Trump supporters are treated like blacks were in the 50s and 60s. On an episode of the show The McFiles, Christopher McDonald's guest, Sherry Wassel, asserted that white conservative Christian Trump supporters are now the targets of systematic discrimination. The two discussed about the arrest of Trump associate Roger Stone and the Covington Catholic high school kids. Wassel said, between that and Roger Stone and an associate of Trump's who happens to be white, saying, it reminds me of all the things from the late 50s and early 60s, the way people were treated. The left is taking us back to the counter at Woolworths. I hate it. It's despicable, and it's happening again. For those who don't know, the counter at Woolworths is famous because blacks were not allowed to sit at the counter or inside of Woolworths. And there was a huge, well, not a huge, but it started out with one person walking in, sitting down and refusing to give up his seat. And that really sparked a huge revolution in that area for civil rights. But it's just crazy that this person can even think that it's okay to compare what self-inflicted misery that Roger Stone and Trump's associates and his followers are going through to the plight and the suffering that the African Americans went through during segregation.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not close. Again, with most nonsense, this has just a tiny little bit of the truth mixed in with a lot of bullshit in it. I mean, and he's not doing his cause any favor with the amount of bullshit that is mixed in what he's saying. First of all, it's not even fucking close.
No,
it's not close at all to what the amount of discrimination that the black people went through in the 50s and 60s. It's fair to say that some Trump supporters, are really unfairly treated just because they're Trump supporters. That's fair to say. But it's nothing close to what the black community went through in the 50s and 60s. Not at all. And his examples, one of them is right, one of them is bullshit. Trump associates getting arrested. It's not. It's the law. It's the fucking law. Okay, they're just enforcing. That's enforcing the law.
Right, okay, right, this is self-inflicted. These are people who break the law, who are being punished for it, who are being indicted and pursued for it,
Right.
versus people who did not choose to come here, did not choose to be ancestors of the people who were drugged here against their will, and they did not choose to be segregated.
Right, so that example is fucking bullshit. Those people are being investigated for crimes just like anybody else would if they were suspected of committing crimes. But his other example, that the Catholic school kid, that kid was really unfairly treated. I agree with that being unfair, but it's again nothing close to what the black community went through in the 50s and 60s. Not at all close. You can point out to unfair treatment without exaggerating it. And in fact, when you exaggerate unfair treatment, it backfires. It doesn't help you solve the unfair treatment that some people are getting. Okay? I mean, I disagree with anybody that supports Trump. But I do acknowledge that some people are really treated badly for their opinions of supporting Trump. I mean, you could disagree with people without treating them like shit. There's so many examples of people that are really being, treated like garbage because they are Trump supporters. And like, there's so many videos of it, and I don't know how much of it is not even being recorded. And none of that should be endorsed. And people that are against Trump should call that out. Because those people that are mistreating people for their supporting Trump, they're also not doing you any favor. People that are going in and beating up people that support Trump or anything like that, or mistreating them, they're hurting the cause of people that are trying to point out why they're against Trump. Because they are also just like this guy is making Trump supporters look ridiculous by exaggerating. The people that are against Trump should also call out people that are that instead of just disagreeing with people and pointing out why they disagree with them, going out and demonizing everybody that disagrees with them. Let me see. Grant is saying there is no such thing as segregation. You mean right now, right? I mean, this guy is being ridiculous if he's comparing what they're going through.
Yeah.
Theo Mackey is saying in YouTube live chat, blacks in the 50s and 60s were practically living in an apartheid state. Trump supporters literally have their idol as a head of state.
Exactly.
Yeah, but again, that's true. So it's nothing close, but it doesn't have to be close for us to admit that some Trump supporters are being mistreated really badly.
I disagree.
Some of them are. You don't acknowledge that some of them are being mistreated.
I don't believe that it is in any way a systemic issue. I do not believe that it's widespread. I
didn't say that. I say some Trump. I just said some Trump supporters are being mistreated simply for being Trump supporters. Brought up systematic.
And some redhead 15-year-olds are getting kicked in the balls every day, but that doesn't mean that it's an issue.
That's an issue if a redhead is getting kicked in the ball. What the hell?
Sure. It's an issue for the individual, but it is not a systemic issue in a way that you can compare it to the plight of African Americans in the 50s and 60s.
Did I say that, Jim?
No, you didn't. I just
said you disagreed with me saying that it's a problem if somebody is being mistreated for their opinion. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say systematic. I didn't say it's widespread. I just said that when that happens, it's a problem. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. So what's the top comment here? CJ is saying, we haven't lynched any of you yet. Quit bitching. Wait, don't say yet. That's CJ. Fucking hell. CJ is saying we haven't lynched any of you yet. So that's okay. I agree with you, CJ, but drop the yet part. Okay, that's scary to me. Lewis is saying, are they admitting that black people and other minorities weren't treated equally back then? Progress? Okay, that's not fair. I mean, I very much disagree with Trump supporters. Very much. But I could bet you that most Trump supporters would acknowledge that black people were mistreated in the 50s and 60s.
I just want to say real quick, there is an off-topic argument in the live chat that I so want to get into, but I won't.
We can't. We
But
can't. We have to stay on
but
topic.
jungle jargon, I want to debate you so bad.
Okay. Renzo is saying this illustrates how the alt-right is adopting the toxic victimization discourse of the progressive left. We really need to transcend beyond this rhetoric ping pong game. Well, I don't know if they're getting it from the alt-left. I do know that the alt-left the regressive left has mastered that, the art of victimization. But this is an ancient strategy. It's nothing new. The regressive left hasn't invented that. This has been working for thousands of years for different communities. Travis is saying, "Oh my, I see photos of the lynching and the Trump supporters only water fountains." Yeah, okay. So Travis has a point. There is no lynching of Trump supporters, and there is no Trump separate water fountains for Trump supporters. So it's nothing. It's not at all close. I think we made our point here. Theo King is saying, "Jim, stay on topic." Let me see if there's anything in the Facebook live chat. There is no such thing. Okay, I already read that. Cool. Should we go to the next news?
Yeah. Christian missionary from Maine could be tried for genocide by Brazil after entering land that was occupied by an isolated tribe and exposing them to deadly disease.
Again?
Again.
This is what the hell is with Christians and this poor people? Leave them alone.
So this is another missionary named Steve Campbell who is linked to a Baptist church in Maine, and he's being investigated by officials from FUNAI, which is the Brazilian government's Indigenous Affairs Department, amid reports that he could be tried for genocide. Last month, he allegedly entered an area occupied by the Haimirama tribe. I'm probably highly messing that up. While carrying out missionary work with natives from a neighboring tribe. And the Haimirama is one of the few dozen isolated communities in Brazil that have had almost no contact with the outside world. So the only contact that this tribe has had up to this extent were other tribes that have had access to the outside world.
Yuval is saying, plus they expose them to religion. Oh shit, yeah, that's
right.
That's another disease.
But yeah, that's the disease that keeps on giving.
No, but good job, Brazil. I mean, Brazil is a Christian country, but a very Christian country, but at least they're not putting up with this bullshit. I don't think this is, we try to call out exaggerations in response to people like over adjusting for a mistake. I don't think that putting these people on trial for genocide is an exaggeration. In fact, it's exactly that. These people must have known about people accusing Christians of putting these people at risk of dying by going there. They could have not known that this is something that is a danger, that you actually could wipe out an entire community of these people. Again, just to be clear to people, these tribes are so isolated from the rest of the world that their immune system has not been, is not immune to a lot of the diseases that we're immune to, because we've been exposed to a lot of diseases. So by getting exposed to anybody from outside, it could kill all of them. People are constantly, there's laws against going there, people are warned against going there, and these fucking idiots, these Christian missionaries, they just want to go there. They just want to go there because they think that these people need saving, and they haven't. And again, this is completely Christian, okay? This is not like, oh, these Christians are stupid because they're not following true Christianity. No, if you truly believe in Christianity, this is endorsed, okay? Because disease, like human disease, like biological disease, is not that big of a deal in their eyes compared to you going to hell for eternity, right?
Well, it's not only that, but in order for Jesus to return, in order to foster the return of Jesus, many of these denominations believe that in order to fulfill that, that there has to be religion in all corners of the world. They believe that everybody has to be exposed to Christianity before Jesus can come back. So they believe that it is their duty to bring it to these people who haven't heard it in order that Jesus may come back.
Yeah, but I don't know how widespread that belief is. But the fact that the belief,
it's pretty widespread.
okay, but it's okay. But what I'm saying is more core. But Muscal is asking what causes someone to do something like this. Christianity, Mus, Christianity. Because what I'm saying is within the core belief in Christianity that you need Jesus to be saved. You don't go to heaven unless through Jesus. Okay, so if I was a Christian, if the premise of Christianity was true, the most sympathetic thing to do would be what these Christian missionaries are doing. Even if you end up killing them, it wouldn't fucking matter, because dying in this world is less of a tragedy to them than you losing your soul to the devil and going to hell for eternity. So they, in their eyes, they're doing you a favor and they're being kind. And but even if I'm so the Christian here, the Christian missionary here themselves, and I know this is an unpopular view, and I know a lot of people in the live chat will disagree with me. I feel bad for the Christian missionary as well, even though I endorse them being tried for genocide and going to prison and being punished for it, because I want this to be discouraged. But when they go to prison for whatever they do, I feel sad for them, because they were also a victim of a different disease called Christianity, and they're going to suffer for it. They are probably kind people that thought that they're doing these people a favor. And they're not bad people, they're just ignorant people. But unfortunately, they have to suffer the consequences just so that we could discourage more activities like this. So I feel bad for everybody here. And again, this is a byproduct of Christianity, which is if you take it to its logical conclusions, this makes total sense. I mean, it doesn't make total sense because the premise doesn't make sense, but if given the premises, this would be the logical conclusion. Let me see the top comment. Do you want to add anything, Jim?
No, not really. I mean, it's just this is really sad. I mean that we can't leave these people alone, and it's not even for curiosity's sake or for for anthropological reasons. This is all for the sake of perpetuating religion. Like, they're not interested in how these people live. They're not interested in their culture. They're not even interested in their religion. Something that most people would be fascinated in. They're simply interested in converting these people.
Jill is saying, this is the top comment, by the way. Jill is I'm confused how one hopes or expects to communicate their beliefs that they so insist on imposing on everyone around them when they don't even speak the same language. It's such an amazing sense of arrogance. Actually, I was wondering that as well when this last time this was in the news. What are, like, these people don't even understand them. What's the strategy here again? Like, what's the thinking process about convincing them if you can't even speak to them? You're muted, Jim.
That's the thing, though, is that they were going into this tribe with members of a neighboring tribe that would translate for them.
Okay. So they thought that part through, at least.
Right, but they did not get permission from
Funai. I'm not endorsing it.
No, I know you're not. I'm just providing extra info. Okay. I'm not attacking you, Armin.
You should. Go on.
That's all I got.
Okay, Lem is saying the disease known as religion, scary music, please. Okay, let me see.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yuval is saying something in favor of missionaries. The ones I saw in Africa were more about helping communities to build things and acquire skill, and less about preaching. They thought that by doing those things, that was their service for God. I mean. Go on, Jim.
No, because I mean, I've done missionary work. I went to Guatemala and I built these what they called bottle buildings, and they were bottles stuffed with trash, glass bottles that were then mixed with adobe, and we built these beautiful homes out of them. But you know what the first thing that we built was, and it wasn't a home for these people, it was a church. The very first thing that we built was a church.
Yeah, but so if Christian missionaries go somewhere and they don't build a church and they don't give out pass out Bibles, they go there and build schools and dig wells and stuff like that. You know what my reaction would be? Great job.
Great.
Yeah, that's great. Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah,
Pat on the back.
yeah, good job. But the thing is that I don't give credit to Christianity for any of that. I give credit to those individuals for doing that.
You get,
Okay?
because that is them exercising, or that is them acting on their humanity.
Yeah.
That is not them acting on their religion.
Yeah.
If they were acting on their religion, it would say, you know, take slaves from these foreign lands, you know, and for the ones who won't accept Christianity, kill them. You know, for the ones who won't. I mean, it's.
I think that's just good people, regardless of religion or lack of religion, being good people. But then this tragic part of that is that they're doing good things because they're good people, but then they give their credit to an ideology that deserves no credit for their good deeds. Brian is saying that guy's wife looks. Well, I'm not going to read that.
Theo Mackey says translating their language is difficult, especially to islanders and rainforest inhabitants, since they don't have words for things like mountains and deserts. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's why they have to take somebody from a neighboring tribe, like from somebody close by.
John Brown is saying at the same time, convincing them make them a martyr. I don't know what you're saying. I is saying ignorance leads to destruction, physical destruction, genocide of the population, or at least of their culture, if they manage to survive to the diseases. I mean, I would be more worried about them being harmed than their own culture. So
Alex Smith says these backwards tribes need to be civilized by the Christian church.
I think Alex is being joking.
I really hope Alex is a troll, because if
he's
Alex
not.
isn't,
He's just being joking. It's fine.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, as a troll, he's
not every jokester is a troll, Jim. You have to get your definitions right.
Okay, well, if it's not an obvious joke to me, that's a troll.
Okay. Theo Mikey is saying translating their language. Oh, sorry. Did you finish? I didn't let you finish.
No, I did.
Okay. Theo Mikey is saying translating their languages is difficult. Oh, you read that? Theo Mikey is saying because Paul was a preacher and I wanted to be like him. I don't know.
So you wanted to make up these visions of Jesus to have people believe you because you felt bad about killing Christians?
You don't know if Paul was making it up or if he actually believed it. Debs is saying the missionary has been working in the region since 1963, according to what I read, and him and his family have been translating the Bible to whatever that language is called. I can't read that. I don't know how to pronounce that. Debs is also saying he even tried to get registered as an indigenous to have access to the isolated tribes. Jesus,
right.
These people are committed.
And he was already told, like, no, you can't do this.
Oh, John Brown. I read what John Brown said wrong, so I'm going to read what John Brown said again. I read convicting. I read it as convincing. So I'm going to read it again. At the same time, convicting them makes them a martyr. Oh, so John Brown is saying if you convict them to prison or something like that, maybe they'll see it as being martyrs. Isn't being a martyr, you're supposed to die to be a martyr?
Yeah. Well, not to be a martyr, not necessarily. You can be oppressed and still be a martyr.
Really? Shit.
Yeah. Michel says, I was raised Catholic, but never did anything like this. Maybe there's something deeper than religion, Armin. But the thing is that the difference between Catholicism... But the thing is, the difference between Catholicism and Protestant is Protestants, you know, they protest the word. They are concerned about spreading the word out. Catholics are just concerned about keeping their orthodox and passing it along people inside of them. They are not at all interested in converting people.
You know what you sound... Was that Moose that said that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Moose, that sounds like when somebody says, I'm a Muslim and I don't want to behead apostates, so beheading apostates has nothing to do with Islam. No, most Muslims do not want to behead apostates. But beheading apostates is definitely Islamic, and it comes from Islam. Go on.
Theo Mackey says that he was raised Catholic and wanted to proselytize because he was Christian and needed to bring Jesus to the world. That's great that you felt the need to do that on your own, but I'm sure that in your journey of doing that, you found that Christianity and Catholicism are two very different animals.
Yuval is saying, but what if this tribe does something horrible, like killing crippled babies? Does anyone has the right to reach them to mend their ways? Yes, but not the Christians, because they don't. I think people with understanding of how to I'm not a non-interventionist. If people are suffering there, or even if they get struck by a disease or something, or if they're torture, let's say like we send cameras there, and he's saying that they're constantly torturing each other as you know, for their gods, then somebody needs to intervene. Somehow somebody needs to get involved, but not these Christians, obviously. Some people with better solutions, maybe people with like you know, people in, you know, suits that doesn't let disease come out in masks and stuff, and with armor, or I don't know, something needs to be. I'm not an expert, but something needs to be done. I'm not in favor of protecting their culture if their culture involves, like, you know, torturing people. No, fuck that. Get in. If they're hurting each other, somebody needs to get in.
Yep.
You need to do a cost-benefit analysis. Like, yeah, go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, like, you have to see, like, if we get in, is there a potential of causing more harm than good? If you could, you know, if you actually think that if we get in, we could avoid more harm, and there is a potential harm, but the potential harm is much less than the harm that we're going to avoid, then you definitely need to get in. But go on, Jim.
Yeah, you have to outweigh, you know, the costs from the benefits. You know, what is it going to cost you by introducing this, and what are you going to benefit from it? Right. And if you're not going to benefit anything from it, you know, then what's the point in doing it in the first place? Theo Mackey says that he wanted to join the Catholic League. Oh, that makes sense. That's their whole purpose, is converting people. Like, they just want to spread Catholicism. And Smitty does make a great point that Catholicism was originally spread by the sword. So that is a good point. But I mean, as far as orthodoxy goes, and, you know, and spreading orthodoxy, and, you know, what they consider the true interpretations.
Muska is saying that, Jim, that makes sense now. Okay, good. Okay, we're doing our job then. Theo Mackey said something else. You want to read that comment and we go to the last news after
that? Which one?
Theo Mackey saying Daniel Lee on Facebook said.
Oh, Daniel Lee on Facebook said, I read Christian Mercenary. Same thing, I guess. Good one, Daniel.
Okay. Let's go to the last news.
Racist vandals draw swastikas and write Muslim terrorists inside Islamic school. Inside the Bar Academy and Islamic school are scribbled swastikas and overturned tables. Vandals broke in and graffitied Muslim terrorists on the walls, fire extinguishers and litter strewn all over the floor. Northumbria police said they are treating the incident as a hate crime, and a fundraiser has now been set up online to try and help the academy and madrasa recover from the attack.
Did anybody get hurt?
Not from what I can tell. From what it seems like they just broke in and just really trashed the place. Okay,
unpopular opinion. This serves a purpose to remind people that how big of an issue anti-Muslim bigotry is. Like, they might have done, you know, not on purpose. They might have done more good than harm. I mean, well, actually, no, the school got damaged. So I hope maybe there's a fundraising to repair the school or whatever. Did they catch the people that did this?
Well, vandalism isn't right.
Yeah, of course, I'm not endorsing it. I'm just saying that we need to, you know, when we fight Islam as an idea, we need to constantly be also reminded that anti-Muslim bigotry, not Islamophobia, please don't use that word. That's fucking bullshit terminology, because Islam needs to be fought against. But anti-Muslim bigotry, it's a real thing, and it's a fucking huge problem that needs to be fought against, right? And I hope most of our community agrees with that. I think it's pretty 50-50, which is a shame. 50-50 is shameful. But I'm hoping that, you know, we can change that, and people that are fighting against Islam at the same time recognize that anti-Muslim bigotry is not only a problem, it's a big problem that needs to be addressed. And I think news like this, at least the silver lining is that it helps us demonstrate how big of a problem it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a huge problem, because I mean, as we've said many times before, whenever these people are attacked for their ideologies in this physical manner, when we're attacking these institutes and the people themselves for their ideology, all we're doing is perpetuating the spread of it, and we're perpetuating the hate of people that are not Islam, that are not supportive of Islam. And the only way that we fight these bad ideologies are with good ideologies. We can't fight them by breaking into these places and trashing them.
Right. I mean, these people are really hurting their own cause. Like Muslim terrorists, and they put a swastika. Like, this is such a bad. I mean, this is. I mean, I guess it's kind of, the silver lining is huge here, because with the swastika and everything, this is really shows how fucking what the big of a disease this is, and it's not really good.
Right.
Like, it's not a really good look for people that hate Muslims. I mean,
well,
not that they had a good look to begin with, but go on.
Well, and it also shows you how disconnected they are, like how much they don't even understand the religion itself. You know, by putting these swastikas on there. I mean, and there's another graffiti thing they did with the devil with horns. You know, and while it is Abrahamic, you know, that's not really a popular Islamic belief.
By the way, if the news all of a sudden comes out that this was some Muslims did this to get sympathy, let's mention that we are against that as well, just in case people want to make fun of us for believing this without being skeptical. Okay.
Hell yeah! I mean, false victimization is stupid.
All right, so there's a slight small percentage chance, like, we want to always be skeptical, that this could be some Muslims that were trying to gain sympathy. Nothing is impossible, okay? So just putting that out there in case. But
we don't want to speculate.
We don't want to speculate, but in case this news gets adjusted in some way in a week or two, we don't want to look ridiculous for just believing whatever news that was put in front of us.
I mean, that's the whole thing, though, is that we speak the news, and that's it. We speak it as we know it from an unbiased perspective. Right. Just a couple of hours ago, you know, I researched this to see if there were any recent updates. So, I mean, if there's anything that comes out after the fact, we'll report on it. We have no problem speaking out against Islam, but we also don't have a problem speaking out against this anti-Islam bigotry that is not productive.
Yeah, but my point is that some people might criticize us for just believing what's happening because it's reported on the news. I'm just saying that everything we see, we hold it with some level of skepticism. We're willing to be like, oopsie, that was wrong, if the news gets corrected. But as it stands, if the Occam's razor suggests that this is actually vandalism by anti-Muslim bigots, and if that's the case, we need to highlight it and show that we're against that. Grant in the Facebook live chat is saying, I think it's a sign religion is failing at an exponential rate. How so? This is actually, religions feed on being victims. This actually helps Islam grow. Again, this is something that anti-Muslim bigots never understand. You're helping Islam grow. Thank you so much. Yuval is saying, by the way, their spelling of Muslim was actually correct until a few decades ago. Yeah, actually, the way they write Muslim is exactly the way in Arabic and in Persian you pronounce Muslim.
So for once, Theo Mackey says something I disagree with. He says that anti-Muslim bigotry is as much of a problem as anti-Christian bigotry. But I don't agree with that at all. Well, yeah, of course it depends. It depends on location. Yeah, but I mean, very rarely do you see people, you know, breaking into these churches, you know, and spray painting onto the walls.
That's because just like, I'm going to generalize here, I'm going to be an anti-American bigot. Jim, because you're an American, you see everything as American focused. So you're just looking. No, Theo Mackey might be right, because maybe Theo Mackey is also thinking of Egypt and Saudi Arabia and Iran and Pakistan, where Christians are discriminated against. You're only focusing on the U.S., and that's why you think Muslims. Yeah,
because I do recognize we see things like with the Catholic churches in the Philippines, for example, but these are not.
I actually agree with Theo Mackey. Because I think Christians are more discriminated against than Muslims.
Oh my gosh!
Wait, prove me wrong. Like what?
Okay, I mean,
Christians are more discriminated against because you're thinking about. Okay, I will give you this. In the U.S., Muslims are more discriminated against than Christians, for sure. Obviously, Christians are. Every fucking president has been a Christian, right? Well, not every, but
okay.
globally,
I would say that
Christians.
I would say that Christians are only persecuted in Muslim majority countries and in atheist states,
which is a shit ton of them out there.
Yes, there is a shit ton of them, but by no means the majority.
How many countries?
By no means the majority.
How many countries discriminate against Muslims?
I mean, like, what do you mean? Like, how many? Like,
how many countries?
I don't know what you mean.
How many countries have massive discriminations against Muslims?
I'm sure most of them.
Most of them. What do you mean? Give me some examples.
I mean, you have all of the Western world. I would say easily.
All the Western world. I'm saying, okay, the Western world doesn't discriminate against Muslims at the same level that Islamic countries discriminate against Christians.
But we're talking about population, though, right? We're not talking about regional.
I'm just saying, like, we're talking about Christians being the discriminations Christians face in Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Egypt.
Sure,
is way worse than the discriminations Muslims face in Islam in Western countries.
Absolutely, but outside of Muslim countries, what is the worst oppression that Christians face?
Okay, you know we have shit ton of Muslim countries, right?
Yes, of course. I'm talking about Muslim majority countries.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Outside of those countries.
Yeah, but when you say outside, you're eliminating like a huge portion of the fucking planet.
Less than 20%.
Less than 20%. Wait, so we have all the Arab countries. How many Arab countries do we have? 11 or 12? And we have Indonesia, which is one of the most populated countries in the world. We have Malaysia.
I would say we have 14
we have Pakistan, Egypt, Pakistan. These are giant countries, okay?
Sure.
Pakistan is one of the most populated countries in the world. This is you're looking at the world and you're removing. It's very easy to get your numbers on your side when you're moving Muslim countries out of the pool, right? So that's not a fair analysis. Anyways,
we can agree to disagree until we get some numbers on this.
Okay, well, we shouldn't agree to disagree. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, let's just... Anyways, somebody do some math for us and let us know what they think. Caspar is saying, I'm nearly 100% that was an inside job. Okay, you shouldn't be 100% sure that it's an inside job. Like, we addressed that. We were kind of skeptical. We said that there's a chance. But, Caspar, if you're 100% sure that this is an inside job, it's because you are probably have a problem addressing that the anti-Muslim bigotry is real. And that says more about you than anything else. Nicholas saying, I withhold judgment until they find the people responsible. There's been a few too many such incidents caused by progressive to raise awareness. Okay, so I'm okay with withholding judgment, but when you don't have evidence, Occam's razor is usually also a good tool to just assign, some levels of probability. Occam's razor is a good method. You could still say this is what I think, but I'm not married to it. You don't have to completely sit on the fence. You could just be like, this is what I think it's likely, and I'm willing to change my views otherwise. John is saying, yeah.
I was just gonna say, I agree with that. I mean, I'm completely willing to change my views on that. Right.
Yeah, I'm willing to say that this is likely done by bigots, but nothing is 100%. But I'm not as certain as Caspar about it being an inside job. And I'm also not 50-50 like Nicholas. Occam's razor is a very useful tool. Paul is saying, not endorsing what has been done at all. However, oh shit, let's see what comes after however. However, Islamic school is a bit of a misnomer. Okay, yeah, it is. Wait, is this an Islamic school that teaches Islam or teaches other things?
Yes. It teaches Islam amongst other things, but it is a religious school.
No religion-based school is educational, so on that basis, it isn't a school at all. I mean, that it's half of a fair point. I mean, if they're teaching math and Islam, it's kind of half of a school, I guess. But I mean, if a school was teaching witchcraft and some people went and vandalized it, pointing to the fact that how ridiculous it is to have a school for witchcraft is secondary to the point that somebody went and vandalized something that they shouldn't have, right? I guess. Right. Dean is saying if it's in England, they're probably not wrong. What?
Yes, it is in England, but I don't know what that has. But
so Dean is agreeing with us. They're probably.
Okay.
See, I think Dean is. Wait, not wrong as in not wrong to vandalize, or not wrong in accusation that this is anti-Muslim bigotry? I don't know what Dean is saying.
Probably not wrong that it's anti-Muslim bigotry because of how much opposition there is to Islamic extremism. Because this
is in the UK. Holy shit! This is definitely very likely. What are you guys talking about? This is likely.
Yeah, and this school is the first Islamic school in that area. It's in northeastern England, I believe.
The people that rule out the fact that this could be anti-Muslim bigotry are so out of touch with reality. This is a problem. Yeah. See, this is a problem that we have with people on our side, is that they are so invested in defeating Islam that they're not willing to accept that anti-Muslim bigotry is a real thing.
But at the same time, there are people who are so enthralled with defending Islam that they won't recognize the possibility that this is somebody internally doing this in order to gain attention.
Yes. So, yeah, we have this problem on both sides. Stephen is saying, not as racist as Muslims moving to a non-Muslim country and setting up an Islamic school. First of all, that's wrong, but it's not racist. And also, good job at mastering whataboutism, Stephen. Patrick is saying, I don't know what this is. I don't know what he's saying.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
Real Nazis would know how to draw swastika. Wait, did they draw it the other way around? Is it a Buddhist?
I didn't see that. It might have been backwards.
Well, we don't know because the image might be a mirror, so maybe they did draw it right.
That's true. That's true too.
Real Nazis. There are no real Nazis. There's only real neo-Nazis.
Well, I mean, a Nazi is a Nazi. I mean, I don't know. I would say that there are no fake Nazis.
No, Nazis. Nazis are all dead. We only have neo-Nazis now. Anyway, Theo Mikey is saying, what's your thoughts on Nazis conflating Muslims with Middle Easterns in the same way that they conflate Jews and atheists with communism and socialism? Racist dog whistles. I mean, that's not a dog whistle. That's just outright racist.
And that's not exclusive to Nazism either. Right. I mean, it seems to be pretty widespread across the right wing. I wouldn't say that that's exclusive to Nazis at all.
Okay, not let's say the far right, not right wing, because to be fair, there's the
far right.
Yeah. Again, what we always have to say, most of the left is not as batshit crazy as the far left and the social justice warriors and the regressive left. Most of the left is not like that. That's the part of the left that is the loudest. So let's not generalize the left like that. And also let's not generalize all the right like that. Most of the right are not racist bigots. Okay? There's the far right, we have the far left, and we have most of the people that are not batshit crazy. But unfortunately, the far right is the loudest part of the right, and the regressive left is the loudest part of the left. Bernita is saying people don't take seriously this attacks because of things as the Nike offense shoes. Okay. I guess that your point is that because Muslims are oversensitive. Yeah, actually, you're right. Because Muslims, this is a problem from the Muslim community as well. They cry wolf when because of finding offensive things in fucking everywhere, in toilet paper that is not, even Allah has on it, or in shoes and stuff like that. Because they cry wolf so much, when there's actually something that they need to bring attention to, people are like, yeah, you guys are being too sensitive. Again, we're not endorsing the people that are saying they're too sensitive, but the oversensitivity of the Muslim community helps these bigots. Just like the oversensitivity of a lot of people on the far left has helped bigots get under the radar, because they use the label racist so loosely that even when you actually call out racist, people don't believe you, because that word has lost its power. Theo Mikey saying most of the left isn't Stalinist and most of the right isn't fascist.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be the left that was the far left that was fascist, but whatever. Moose is saying
communist.
Well, I mean, that's just horseshoe theory. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. Michel is saying regressive left. Come on, Moose. You should know this. You've been part of us for a long time. Okay, go just search what regressive left means.
I am so far left that left wingers like think I'm right.
Who said that?
Me.
Wait, no, you're not far left.
In some aspects I am, and when it comes to government, like and rule, and I would say that I'm very much far left. But when it comes to sociological issues, I would say I'm closer to left of center.
Okay, I don't know. I will share on your views once it gets to specific. I'm not going to make it general. Theo Mikey is saying, however, the far left isn't as much of a threat as the far right. Theo Mikey, I disagree with you. The far leftists dye their hair and yell in your face. Far righters drive through crowds of innocents. I don't agree with you, Theo Mikey, because the far left is. That's a very localized view of the world, if you think like that. The problem with the far left ideologies is that they have too much influence on social media, and that, you know, like for example, a tiny city like Silicon Valley is been dominated by far left views, ideology, and the discussions that we're having on social media is global. So you have the local politics of not just one country, but the ideology of one city having a major impact of the dialogue that is allowed on a global scale. So I do think a lot of people underestimate the dangers of the regressive left. Wolf is saying Muslims live by a certain agenda. Why don't people free their mind? I'm so sick of it. It's totalitarian and sad. Well, yeah, I mean, Smithy is saying far left and authoritarian left aren't synonymous. Stop using them synonymously. I mean, the word far left, it means when you take things too far. So I think far left could mean many things. It could be authoritarian left, or it could be the regressive left. I don't think there's this strict definition for what far left means. Theo Mike is saying, I'm with Jim. I'm anti-conservative and anti-libertarian. Armin. Okay. Mars is saying it's pretty bad up there. Oh, Mars is from Silicon Valley area, so he knows. Mars is saying it's pretty bad up there, Silicon Valley. Sad to say because it's my home. See, Mars is confirming what I'm saying.
Silicon Valley is getting this shitload of rain right now.
Okay, good. They deserve it. Renzo is saying, I'm just kidding. Renzo is saying it's not a surprise this happened in North England. It had one of the highest proportions of leave votes in the Brexit referendum. North of England is kind of like the U.S. Rust Belt. Okay, Renzo, but let's not accuse all the people that are. I'm not saying you're saying that, but let's just be careful of not suggesting that all the people that vote leave are in favor of Brexit are anti-Muslim bigots. I mean, I disagree with them, and I know a lot of people in the live chat and in our community do agree with them, which is fine. We could have that disagreement. But just because I disagree with them doesn't mean that I'm going to accuse them of being bigots. And I'm not saying, Renzo, that you suggested that. Theo Maki is saying, sources, please, Armin, for the far left views advertised by politicians and media figures that want people placed in gulags. Well, sources, Theo Maki, by how many people right-wing today want to put people... How many people in the right-wing want to put people in gulags today?
But I think what you mean is how many people in the left wing want to put people in gulags, because that is a very extreme left wing.
Yeah, exactly.
Ideology.
Historically, that's a very extreme left wing. Smithy is saying far left and okay. I don't want to get into this debate right now. That's
that's this whole political compass thing is too much.
Yeah, and horseshoe and all that theories. Smithy is saying far left and authoritarian left aren't synonymous. Stop. Oh wait, you already said this. Are you repeating yourself, Smithy? For far left. You're okay. Smithy is saying the same thing. Mar's saying they're teaching intersectionality in high schools. And I don't think the valid portions of it. Anyways, we're getting off topic. Let's just leave it there. Let me see. Oh my god, I ignored my Facebook people. We're ignoring them. Sorry guys. What if this? Okay, how far back do I need to go? Sorry guys. Grant is saying I think it's a sign. No, I read that already. No. Oh. Yuval was saying anti-Christian is worse because where Muslims are, the majority Christians suffer more than Muslims in the West. Do you want to be a Copt in Egypt? Exactly. Yuval agrees with me. Okay, Yuval is asking why outside. I don't know what that's referring to. Yuval is saying, what does Brexit have to do with bigotry? That was what I was saying, Yuval. I was saying a lot of people accuse people that are Brexiters as being bigots, and I'm just saying they shouldn't do that. I disagree with So
I mean, a lot of people have economic motivations to be for Brexit. I mean, it has nothing to do with bigotry.
Even among people that have immigration concerns, even them shouldn't be accused of all being bigots. Okay. Furious Ego is saying, Armin sir, as you are from Iran, what are your thoughts on Iran's arrest? Furious Eagle, that's not relevant to the news. So we'll have an episode on Zoroastrianism at some point. I'm gonna read this even though we weren't tagged because I like it. Mrs. Snarky is saying, I adore these live streams. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Snarky.
I was just responding to that. Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, so let's leave it at that. Thank you, everybody, in the live chat on Facebook. Aya, Yuval, Carl. Yuval, thank you so much. Your comments are very much appreciated. Even the ones we disagree with. Grant, I read that. Renee, John Brown, Brent. Sorry if I missed any of your comments. Rob, and on YouTube. Again, Mrs. Snarky, Beige, and Christy, thank you so much for cleaning up the mess from the Jew hatred. You guys are awesome. Izzy, Jim Majors, thank you in the live chat. You're there too. Moose Gal is here. It's a great comment. Theo Mackie, thank you so much for your very valuable information as always. Theo Mackie and Renzo and Beige are very on top of many of the topics that we discuss, and they make the live stream with their comments a lot valuable. And also Christy and Mrs. Snarky with their positive messages, they just warm our hearts and make us. Christy and Mrs. Snarky, you guys are really encourage us to do what we're doing. Makes us feel good about what we do. So thank you so much for all the emotional support. Who else? Jen Morgan, Jungle, Smithy, Furious Eagle. You guys are awesome. Sorry if I miss anyone's name. I'm not trying to ignore you. Sorry guys. Mike, everybody else. Love you guys. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for disagreeing with us. Thank you for correcting us. And yeah, see you guys again next week.
Bye, everyone.